I promised that we're going to talk about Trump's budget, and we are right now. Trump's assault on the planet is twofold. We talked in the first hour how reports are that he's going to withdraw the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement. That doesn't bode well for the future of our planet. But then we also have the Trump budget, which it does a number to energy efficiency programs and other things that we're going to talk about right now. And joining me on the phone is Noah Horowitz. He's a senior scientist and director, the Center for Energy Efficiency Standards and Energy Transportation Program at the Natural Resources Defense Council, the NRDC. Noah, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Sam.
So many bad things to discuss in this Trump budget. Where do we start? Well, let's start with the energy efficiency programs. First up, the Energy Star labeling program. Listeners have probably seen this label on their refrigerator or washer or dryer or something, basically to prove that the appliance they're getting is indeed energy efficient. Trump's budget has a problem with this program, huh?
It's not just a problem. Excuse me, the proposed budget would zero out the Energy Star program. The program, as we know it, would receive $0 in the future and would go away. And that makes no sense at all. This is a voluntary labeling program that was actually started under President Bush, so there's been bipartisan support for this. And it's a really easy way for consumers to identify the more efficient model. And we'd have a lot of chaos if that went away.
And we've seen a group of retailers, manufacturers, builders all join together to write a letter to the administration advising them against getting rid of this program. Trump was a builder. He prides himself as a builder. I'm sure that during his time as a builder, he's come across in these various programs, this Energy Star program, and it's helped him figure out what he needs to build, what sort of appliances to install and things like this. That's why this doesn't seem to make sense here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Manufacturers like LG and Whirlpool are on record as supporting the program. Leading builders, utilities across the country, environmentalists. When's the last time all those people have been on the same piece of paper? In fact, they've signed a letter, about 1,000 different organizations, urging Congress and the Trump administration to maintain this program and its budget. It's one of the most cost-effective private partnerships in history. And just a few numbers, if you will. The program costs about $60 million a year, yet delivers utility bill savings to the tune of $30 billion. So this is really, really cost-effective and a very effective and efficient program.
And this is just one component of the assault on energy efficiency within the Trump budget. We also just have the energy efficiency standards that are so important in lots of various sectors of our economy. Those two, whoever makes the office that makes these standards is going to be severely hampered by the Trump budget, right?
Yeah, the proposed Trump budget would cut the energy efficiency and renewables program by 70%. That's a lot more than a little haircut, right? And we have a minimum efficiency standard set by the Department of Energy, and this has been going on for 30 years, and this program was started by none other than President Reagan. So again, you see the bipartisan support here that's disintegrating for reasons that make us scratch our head. But just like we have minimum efficiency standards for cars, we have those for the refrigerator, clothes washer, dishwasher you might buy in your home. And we need these standards because when you look at a refrigerator, you can't tell by looking at it whether it's an energy hog or not. So these common sense standards are set by Department of Energy. And believe it or not, the average home will save about $500 a year on their utility bill due to the standards that have been set over time.
So you kind of touched on it there a little bit, but imagining these programs go away and the standards go away, that's going to make shopping for these appliances impossible or even perilous, to the sense that you might be buying an appliance that's going to cost you thousands of dollars more in the future because of its high energy costs.
Yeah, so there are two parts here. One, the DOE, Department of Energy, sets a floor to make sure all the products you buy are an efficient one. And Sam, have you ever had your water heater go out in the middle of the night?
I have not.
Well, many of your listeners have, and you're not the most popular person in the home. So what you do is you call the plumber, and they come the next day, hopefully, if find somebody that quickly. And you get whatever water heater's on the back of the truck. And there's a good chance that would be an inefficient one. And you're not saying, oh, could you tell me what the modified energy factor of this thing is? So that's why we need standards. Also, when people are living in a rental unit, is the landlord going to pay another $20 to buy the more efficient fridge, even though it saves you $100? Probably not. So that's why we need these standards. And if the Energy Star label goes away, how is this going to work? The Energy Star program is managed by the EPA. It has a lot of integrity and trust, and they're managing the program very well. If that goes away, it's going to be the Wild West. A lot of manufacturers are going to probably make exaggerated claims, and the consumer will suffer.
We've got another cut here, and this one seems particularly cruel. Trump's budget goes after the low-income weatherization program.
Yes, so zero seems to be the magic number when the people that put this draft budget together. So the low-income weatherization program would be zeroed out. Their budget would completely go away. And this is a program that helps low-income people heat their homes and stay comfortable. And it goes to pay for installing insulation or repairing broken windows so you're not freezing in the winter. And also it gives subsidies or grants to states to provide people relief on their utility bill. And why on earth would you do that?
So it seems like, I mean, this program specifically, obviously, since it's directly targeted at low-income Americans, but all of these cuts are the burden on them is going to fall so much on low-income Americans because they're the ones who have the most to lose here when they're trying to maintain efficiency, because that means more money in their pockets when that money's not going to the utility company, when they're shopping around for appliances, and here when they need to do some home improvements to make sure that their energy bills drop. All of these cuts are going to disproportionately harm low-income Americans, huh?
You're right. So the person that's getting a $50 or $100 or $200 utility bill, if you're low income, you can least afford to pay that. So you really benefit from that relief. And that landlord-tenant situation, disproportionate amount of low-income people are renters, and let's make sure they're not stuck with a energy-guzzling refrigerator or water heater.
And looking more out into the future, Trump's budget basically eviscerates research and development funding. That seems like something that's going to harm us not just today and tomorrow and the low-income Americans who are struggling to afford their energy bills, but way out in the future as we're trying to develop technology that's more energy efficient, particularly on a planet that's getting increasingly hotter.
Yes, and also the competitive economy that we live in. Mm-hmm. So one example, there's a program called ARPA-E. Sorry for the acronym. That's the Advanced Research Program for Energy that the Department of Energy manages. So the next generation of Windows, or making our data centers more efficient, or this program helped drive down the cost of solar panels. That research, that program is also zeroed out. Makes no sense, like you said. And this research encourages innovation and also develops jobs in the U.S. And this is completely counter to the Trump agenda of creating jobs and helping low-income consumers out.
It's fairly conventional wisdom here in Washington, D.C., that a president's budget is dead on arrival in Congress. After all, it's Congress that controls the purse strings. They're the ones who make budgets. We've had Republican senators like John McCain and Lindsey Graham say that the Trump budget is dead on arrival. But if you look at why they say it's dead on arrival, for McCain, he's upset that there's not enough defense spending in it. For Lindsey Graham, he's upset that the State Department has too many cuts. Neither of them seem to have problems with the assaults on the poor in the welfare state and the assault on these energy efficiency programs. So how receptive do you think the Republican Congress will be toward this specific aspect of the Trump budget that takes on a lot of these energy-saving programs?
These days, it's really hard to have a clear crystal ball, but the point you made earlier is this is simply a proposed budget, and many people have said it's dead on arrival, and we hope that's the case and that clearer heads prevail and that these very popular and successful programs are preserved. And we're not talking a lot of money here compared to a lot of the other line items, and this stuff is good for consumers, it's good for the environment, and businesses also support this program. So hopefully those voices will be heard loud and clear, and the people that are actually putting pen to paper on the budget do the right thing. And this stuff has historically been very supported on both sides of the aisle. Energy efficiency isn't a partisan issue. And as I mentioned earlier, both President Bush's and also President Reagan initiated some of the groundbreaking programs that we're talking about today.
For those listeners who are, a little bit shocked that the Energy Star program might actually disappear, that they're not going to have the information they need when they're going in to buy appliances, that the future of research to develop more energy efficient technology is in danger, that low-income Americans might not get the help they need to weatherize their homes. All the people who are concerned by these developments, what would you advise them to do to make their voices heard and get involved here?
You could go to our website, nrdc.org/defend, and there'll be a lot of information there. And the simple short answer is get involved, watch the budget process, reach out to your congresspeople and let them know you support the environment. You want to make sure that these programs and budgets for energy efficiency are preserved, and at minimum keep the standards program and keep Energy Star going, and also these other programs as well, like low income and R&D. Don't give away all these successful programs.
Yeah, and we can call the congressional switchboard at 202-225-3121 or 202-224-3121. Raise some hell with your member of Congress. Noah Horowitz, Senior Scientist, Director, Center for Energy Efficiency Standards, Energy and Transportation Program at the NRDC. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Sam.
We'll be back.